Hello there, welcome to the Alfa Romeo Owners Club YouTube channel. My name is Nathan, and I know you're probably wondering, this is new, what's going on? More about that later. But for now, I just want to let you know that the Alfa Romeo Owners Club have decided to boost their social media content, which is fantastic, isn't it? And they've basically approached myself and fellow registrar Debbie Lindsay of 159 fame to head the project. So it's an incredible honour. And I'm very much looking forward to it. We have loads and loads of ideas, and we are going to be bringing them to a TV near you. Essentially, some of those ideas involve challenges, economy runs, reviews, head-to-heads, shootouts, anything you name, we've thought of it and we're on it. And essentially, it's to bring the content closer to you. All things Alfa Romeo, we're bringing it to you, which is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? So, but that's then, on to now. Why am I here? Well, here is Alfa Romeo Thames in Slough, just outside London. And ahead of the new Tonale's press release or launch event in the UK, I've been invited down to essentially talk you around this brand new Alfa Romeo Tonale, which is absolutely fantastic, especially in this shade of Brera Red. So essentially what today is going to be about, it's going to be about walking around the vehicle, driving the vehicle, letting you know what I think of it, and letting you know maybe if it's the best car for you going forward. And let's face it, it's an Alfa Romeo, so it probably is, but let's get to it. So, the Alfa Romeo Tonale. Let's see what it's all about, shall we? I can take the handbrake off. First impressions are, what a lovely car. I mean, straight off the get-go, I mean, it just feels like an absolute premium product, which is nothing short of what you'd expect from Alfa Romeo, really, is it? It's like a cocoon. That's the word I can describe. It's like a cocoon. It feels like it just cosets you in this lovely interior. This is a bit of a nightmare, this junction here. Indicating noise is a bit interesting. What a lovely thing. What a lovely thing. I've only been in this. You're getting my absolute first impressions live here, so you're in for a treat. Am I nervous? Yep, yes I am, but this is all for your viewing pleasure, isn't it? I can already see people staring at the car. I think that's the Brera Red, to be honest. It's a gorgeous colour, and we've got perfect weather for it today, really. Honestly, it's absolutely glorious, as you can see. So this colour, all Alphas pop in the sun, don't they, really? And this is no exceptional. First thing I will notice is, obviously I come from having a Busso powered GT, so this is very, very different to what I'm used to. But I will say, it rides absolutely brilliantly. It rides perfectly. Honestly, it's so supple. And I know we're sort of not comparing eggs with eggs here, but it's up to a 60-mile-an-hour road here. Goodness me, it pulls well. It pulls very well. This is the mild hybrid version. I'll talk about the details and the specs a little later on, but this is essentially, you can't get much higher than this spec of Tonale. It is the Veloce version. Again, I'll talk about specs later on, but what you're getting now are sort of like my raw driving impressions of the car. What it feels like. Does it feel like an Alfa? Does it have that Alfa DNA? Or is it a rebadged Peugeot? or something, which I'd never describe an Alfa as anyway. But so we're on the M4 now, doing about 60 mile an hour, and it rides absolutely beautifully, absolutely gorgeous. This is actually blowing my mind. Actually, this is phenomenal. It's so quiet. It's just beautiful. The suspension's subtle. It doesn't veer off. It doesn't want to find the camber in the road. It just cruises lovely. It's glorious. It's glorious. There's another thumbs up. Yeah. See, as you're an Alfa owner, you tend to get the thumbs up from people. And this one's no exception. My impressions of the old Tonale was, when it first came out, I wasn't too keen on the styling. Like, I love all Alfas, we're all Alfisti, aren't we? So of course we do. But I wasn't a massive fan of the original Tonale styling. I thought it was a bit cutesy. It wasn't mean enough. It didn't have an edge. Whereas this one, I think, as soon as you see it in person, in profile, it's stunning. The front end, that sculpted front end, sort of harkens sort of the GTAM with the vents in the front bumper. It just looks absolutely stunning. It's mean. It just it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And that Scudetto, that's almost 33 Stradale-esque. It's a gorgeous car in profile now. Honestly, it's so much better than the original. It's so much better than the pre-facelift. It's almost like Alfa Romeo was, I don't know, it's almost like they thought, okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make this look the part. Whereas with the first one, I thought, not that, I don't think they rushed it, but I think it didn't look quite as good as us Alfisti was hoping it would look. But this one, they've definitely remedied that. It's stunning. I do want to say also that this car has all kinds of autonomous driving features going on. You know, it has the radar guided cruise control. It has the ADAS systems, as all modern cars have to have these days, which is a plus or a minus depending on which camp you sit in. Personally, for me, I like my cars to be a bit more analog. I like them to feel a bit more old school, hence why I own a GT. Don't like all the screens. I'm not that kind of person. However, I must say that in this particular car, the way they've laid the dashboard out is absolutely stunning. It really is. Like, the screen is big, but it's not intrusive. It doesn't feel like you're driving an iPad, which I think most modern cars have that feel now, of you're just driving a massive iPad and you're just a little bit of, you know, meat behind the wheel, but the car can essentially do it all without you. That's not what Alfas are about. Alfas are all about the driving experience. You buy an Alfa for the driving experience. So for an Alfa to fall down in that department, you know, it's hard to make an argument if you look against the other brands, you know, from Germany or even further afield, you know, like Korea, for example. If you look at all those brands, or for example, Range Rovers, you know, Alfa Romeo has to drive well. And this, on first impressions, this drives brilliantly. I'm only doing motorway speeds, you know, I'm at 65 mile an hour, not in a particular rush. I mean, why would I be in a rush? I'm in a brand new Tonale, you know. It's my first time ever driving this car, first time ever driving the new, like, you know, a modern product from Alfa Romeo. And I am of the camp of Busso is best. You know, I don't think you can beat an old school Busso. I don't think you can quite describe just the effects, the emotional effect they have on you. But I was very interested to see what I would think of, or what I would feel jumping into a modern product of the Alfa Romeo era. And I have to say, I'm not disappointed so far. There's so much against your... Oh, it's bonging at me. It's bonging at me. See, that's modern, yeah, that's modern driving, isn't it? Bongs and You can turn those off. You can turn those off, thankfully. Although how easy it is, you know, I'll let you know. But it's the bonging, it's the beeps and the bonging for me. I just, yeah. Please let me do what I'm doing, you know. Okay, please, just, yeah. But like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the car. As good as those older cars are, there is an element of course they're getting on a bit. Alfa Romeo obviously need to sell cars to keep going. That's probably more so true now than it ever has been with Stellantis owning. There you go, it's bonging again. Even though it's a 70 mile an hour road, it's bonging at me, saying that the road is 50 mile an hour. Okay, it's not. I promise you it's not. But okay. As I was saying, where was I? Yeah, Alfa Romeo, they need to sell units to survive. As with any car company, any mark that you follow, they need to sell units. So, of course, now we see Alfa Romeo Junior, this Tonale, Stelvio still going, Giulia still going, until we get obviously the new versions of those cars. So, in amongst that crowd, is this a car that you would look at in the Alfa Romeo lineup and think, I'll take a Tonale over a Junior, I'll take a Tonale over a Stelvio? And that's what we're basically going to find out. Because as good as the older cars are, and we all love them to death, they are getting on a bit. Let's be honest, they are getting on a bit. Bunging again. Okay. They are getting on a bit. Although the older cars don't do that. So yeah. So you can make an argument, you know, that my GT certainly doesn't do it. The only bonging my GT does is from the fuel light. You know, the 2 beeps of death that we call it. You don't know if the engine management light's on or if you're just low on fuel. And let's be honest, when we all see that we're low on fuel, we all breathe a huge sigh of relief. I know I do. I'd rather it be out of fuel than motor control failure. Now we'll get onto the specs and the prices and all of that good stuff later on in the video. But now this is really just giving you my raw driving impressions of what this car is like for you lovely people that might want to buy one. So far, very impressed, I must say. I must say the fit and finish of everything in here, absolutely lovely. Everything just feels absolutely glorious. It's quiet as well, very quiet. The engine almost, this is a mild hybrid, so it does have your main engine, then a hybrid motor sort of coupled to it. It does produce 15 horsepower more than the old one, so we're up to 175 brake horsepower combined. But the electric motor, I have to say, it's not intrusive at all. You barely notice it. You barely notice it at all. It sort of just assists in acceleration and from, you know, pulling from low down. It doesn't really interfere with the driving experience too much. You don't actually notice it much, I must say. The brakes on initial feel amazing as well. The brakes feel very good. Not too grabby, easy to modulate them. Feels fantastic. I must say, one thing I was a little bit nervous about is the size of this car. Now, I am used to a car that is much, much, much smaller than this. And from where I'm sat, in my driving position, the bonnet does go on a bit. You can see it. Like, you don't quite know where the edges of the car are. However, saying that, the steering is so good that the car is so nimble that you can almost place it with utter confidence. Getting out of the dealership earlier, there was a very tight sort of way in, way out, and at first I thought, oh no, you know, don't want to scratch it. But actually, it's very easy to judge where the corners of the car are because you can see them. You can see them on the bonnet. The bonnet is quite sloping, but you can see where they go. Bong in again. You can see you can see where the edges of the car is, which is pretty cool. We're just going over a bit of rough road at the moment. If you know it, and you know if you're on the M4 coming into London, thank you. If you're on the M4 sort of coming into London, you'll know exactly the road I'm on now. It's sort of like you're sort of on a flyover really, and you've got the various other dealerships and buildings on the side. And for some reason, it's one of the worst paved roads in London. And it's just awful, horrible. I've come over this way many times in the GT, and it's like ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And you might still maybe hear that a little bit in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a little bit of that, but you don't feel it. In the GT, it's like ba-dum, ba-dum. And you're like, goodness, let it end, just let it end. And then I usually drop it into fourth and I floor it up to the legal limits officer just out there, because let that Busso sing, you know. But with this, it rides so nice. It rides absolutely. This is impressive. This is impressive. From when you're so used to sort of like the old school Alfa, and they're not uncomfortable cars. The GT is actually phenomenally well damped. Like the suspension on it is very hard to get right. It is one of the sort of the well-known sort of tricky spots of the GT. But the actual ride itself, it is sort of GT by name, GT by nature. And I'm sorry I keep comparing this to the GT, but that is the car I own. I own a GT. You know, I've had a 159 before as well, and the 159 rides a lot better than the GT. I'm going to be honest. This it's much better than the 159 and the GT. The ride is phenomenal. It's almost like you're gliding over the road, but there's enough feel in the steering wheel and through the chassis that you know exactly what surface you're on. If you know, you know. Bonging again. I'm not speeding. I'm not. I promise, I'm not. It's okay. You're in safe hands. I promise you. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. You know, modern car, I'd say. Modern cars. When I was travelling up to do the review today, my first initial thoughts were, is it going to feel like an Alfa? You know, us Alfisti, you know, we are very passionate people. We love our cars, we love our Alfas, and we love the sort of passion behind the brand. You know, we love everything about it. But then, you know, when they first launched the sort of B segment, you know, platform like this, there were a few Alfisti that I spoke to, and it was a bit like, oh no, what is Alfa doing, you know? And if I'm honest, my first initial feelings were, oh no, what are Alfa doing? But Alfa have to sell cars. We have to remember this. Alfa have to sell cars to survive. This is how they're going to do it. If we can entice, and if Alfa Romeo can entice other brand owners, you know, if you've had a BMW X3, for example, this is a logical next step. This is a logical next car that you might be looking at, you know. So it has to be able to compete on that front. You know, it can't have two doors. It can't look like a 4C. It has to look like this. It has to feel like this. It has to be a family car, you know. It has to be comfortable. It has to be practical. It has to be reliable. And let's not talk about reliability on the Alfa channel. Goodness me. You'll have the comment section up in arms. We are now very much in London. And I wanted to bring it to London because I think it would be very appropriate for the car. Now, I could have gone to a lovely swooping road and, you know, had all of the dramatic music going over the top of it, and you would have seen it and you would have bought one immediately. And I probably should have done that, really, shouldn't I? But I thought, bring it into London, because let's be honest, the Tonale is a sort of car that will be used in cities, everywhere of course, but in cities, right? So it has to be able to be easy to park. It has to be not big enough for certain width restrictions. It has to, you know, it has to meet certain criteria, because if it's a pain to live with, you know, it's going to put people off, you know, especially the people coming from, you know, not Alfa Romeo, you know. If you come from a BMW and Audi, you know, it has to be able to sort of be easy to drive around these, you know, around the city. You know, it has to be. So that's why I thought I'd bring it into London, right? So it can do the normal traffic and the 20 mile an hour, and I want to see how it responds and how it behaves in an urban environment, you know? Can this blend into its surroundings? On first impressions, I'm going to say no, because it's in Brera red, and absolutely I'm catching the reflections of the car in the shop windows and stuff, and it looks absolutely stunning. This doesn't blend in. If you want to get noticed, buy one of these. This is an absolutely stunning car, and every time I look at a reflection and I see it, I go, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And that is what an Alfa Romeo is supposed to do. And as far as I'm concerned, sold. We could pretty much end the video here. Buy one. I was just saying buy one. I just told them to buy one. Come on. I was speaking to Abby, who's the concierge at Thames Slough. What a lovely guy. Absolutely lovely guy. And he took me out in this. As a passenger before he gave me the keys, and he basically said to get the best out of this car, you do have to drive it smooth. He said the smoother you are with it, the better the car will respond. And when he said that, it's like every Alfa I've ever driven, to be honest. Like, Alfas do respond very, very well to your inputs as a driver. And I will die on this hill. If you are the sort of person that wants free performance or the car to do everything for you, maybe an Alfa is probably not the best choice. They are driver-centered, driver-focused vehicles. They just are. I've noticed, again, GT, I've noticed with my GT that if you're feeling lazy and you don't want to shift, or you don't want to properly heel and toe, or you're feeling a bit like, oh, I won't fully depress the clutch, it will bite you. They will bite you. They need to be driven. And I can tell it's the same with this Tonale. It responds well to your inputs. If you're very stabby with the throttle and you're like, oh, come on, the car will respond in a likewise manner. But if you're smooth with it and you can drive it, you tell the car what you want it to do. And I know that sounds like a silly thing to say in a car, of course you're telling it what to do, but if you can sort of use your inputs to help guide it, it will reward you by being the best version of itself it can be, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? That makes sense. Does this Alfa Romeo pass the challenge, or does it let people... Oh, it does. It passes the challenge, people. It passes the challenge. Where's the hazards? I don't know how to say thank you. There you go. Little hazards there. It passes the test. That's another test I wanted to do in London. Do people let you out in it? I don't know if... Maybe some of you have been to London, some of you haven't. I don't know. But with an Alfa Romeo, right, people let you out of junctions. They really, really do. I have driven a lot of cars. A lot, right? And if you're in anything German and it begins with a B and ends in a W, good luck trying to pull out of a junction. Good luck. You'll be there for a very, very long time. It's quite funny, actually. It is quite funny, but you'll be there for a while. I've never had that in an Alfa. People just go, come on through. And I wanted to see what that Porsche driver would do. I wanted to see what he would do. Would he look at me and go, no? Or would he go, come on through? And he went, come on through. It's an Alfa thing. Right, we have a real world test for you here. How easy is the Alfa Romeo Tonale to park? If you live in London, parking is somewhat of a premium. It needs to be able to fit anywhere. Car next to me is a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, so you don't want to hit that. How easy is it to park a Tonale? This is not the biggest space in the world, but in London, good luck trying to find a bigger one. Gearbox does a very, very good job. It doesn't just jerk forward like crazy. Easy peasy. Is the Alfa Romeo Tonale an easy car to park? Yes, it is. So, how manoeuvrable is the Tonale? We've seen how it can park. Let's see how manoeuvrable it is. So, what we're going to do is a 3-point turn. Now, if you've ever driven a Busso engined Alfa, you will know not exactly the easiest thing to do. But let's see how we get on here. It's quite a narrow road. Turny down to change gear, which I do really like. And go as far back as possible. Full lock. Brilliant. Effortless. The lock is amazing, like really good lock. Honestly, like if you've ever driven an old school Alfa, you will know that going around mini roundabouts, you know, or the steering lock is woeful on them. Whereas this, no problem. And this is a really tight, narrow road. Really is tight. Like it's a lot tighter than you might think it is on camera. I mean, or you know, at home. But goodness me, it really is like very manoeuvrable. You know, you can almost do it for fun. You know, really is a good manoeuvrable old bus. This. We're now sort of driving around sort of the Buckingham Palace area, and so you get a lot of high-end cars around here. All the buildings look very nice, and you know, and we're around sort of Belgravia, if you know where that is. And it's a very nice place in London. And I'll tell you now, the Tonale is attracting bonkers attention. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. See, in London, you're always treated to these, like, you always find hidden gems and hidden cars. I mean, there's a Ferrari 812 Superfast there. And it still doesn't look as good as this. I have absolutely no idea. Do not do that again. Width restricted test. Done. So I think it's time for us to have a little bit of a walk around the car. You know, we'll find a place to pull over and we'll walk you around the car in a bit more detail, shall we? See you in a bit. So we found a quiet place to pull over. Let's have a look around the new Alfa Romeo Tonale. Hello, this is voiceover Nathan here. I know you're wondering, why does he need a voiceover? Well, the guy on your screen was so excited by the day that he couldn't remember his lines, and the sun was going down by the time he had any vague hope of getting his script read out in time. So I thought, you know what, I'll help him out in voiceover. So he's got to work on that, hasn't he? But anyway, the 2026 Alfa Romeo Tonale, I'm just going to talk to you about some of the changes that they made for the updated version, which the most noticeable being that new front end with this concave Scudetto grille, which draws inspiration from the 33 Speciale. Engine and powertrain options for the UK, you've got two essentially. It's a 1.5 litre mild hybrid, which is a 4-cylinder engine producing 175 horsepower, which is a slight bump, 15 horsepower or so from the previous 160, and it utilises a 48 volt hybrid tech and a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. The other option being a 1.3 litre PHEV, which is a plug-in hybrid, with Q4, and that's the range topping model, and it delivers 270 horsepower, which is quite staggering, for an all-wheel drive system. It features a 15.5 kilowatt battery, providing roughly 38 miles of electric only range and a 0 to 62 mile an hour time of 6.6 seconds. So, updated body colours. So this is always a good option to have with any new Alfa Romeo, and the three new metallic options that we have are our current version, current car that we're reviewing is in Rosso Brera, which is absolutely gorgeous. My personal favourite is Verde Monza, and you also have Giallo Ochra, which is a sort of yellow or gold colour. All three look absolutely stunning, and I'd be happy with any of them, to be honest. I'm sure you would too. The established metallic colours are obviously Montreal Green, which is enormously popular, and you've got Vesuvio Grey and Misano Blue. Solid colours being Alpha Black and Alpha White. Note also that you can get a contrasting black roof on the updated Tonale, which is also available on the higher trims for a more two-tone look. Key interior and trim updates, being the most noticeable being the new gear selector. So the traditional shifter has been replaced by a more modern rotary selector to clean up the centre console, which looks fantastic and is much easier to use also. The Sport Speciale, which we have on test here, is a new launch edition trim essentially, which features 20-inch wheels, silver exterior accents and exclusive interior with black and white Alcantara seats. Tech enhancements. So every model essentially comes standard with the 12.3-inch digital cluster and a 10.25-inch touchscreen with wireless smartphone mirroring. The new Tonale starts from around £37,665. Top speed varies between 121 and 132 mile an hour depending on the engine you have. Wheel sizes vary from 18, 19 and 20-inch wheels. The 20 inches look absolutely incredible, but you wouldn't want to curb it, would you? Boot space. So the mild hybrid, you have 500 litres of boot space with, unfortunately, if you have the plug-in hybrid version, which also features the Q4 system, which is the four-wheel drive, it goes down quite substantially to about 385 litres. Hopefully that helps Nathan out on your screen a bit. Let's hope that he doesn't make any more mistakes, eh? Just while I have your attention, feel free to leave a like or a comment down in the comment section. We would really appreciate it. Any feedback is good feedback. We hope that you're enjoying this new style video from the Alfa Romeo Owners Club. Also, massive thank you to Thames Slough for loaning us this vehicle. They are an absolutely amazing dealer. Very knowledgeable. Speak to Abby, he's absolutely incredible. Can't thank him enough. He's gone above and beyond in getting this car ready for us, so we really appreciate it. Back to the video. Bye.
So just jumped back in the Tonale and we're heading out of London now, and I've just been having a bit of a play with the DNA system, which if you're familiar with Alphas, you'll know that, well, most Alphas have a DNA switch, which is dynamic, normal and all-weather. And I've just been having a bit of play with the modes, and I just want to see if there's any noticeable difference if you're driving sort of around town. And I must say, there's quite a noticeable difference. If you're in A, which is sort of their all-weather sort of setting, the car sort of goes quite dim-witted. It's actually quite alarming, actually. Like, you're not really expecting it. So you press the throttle and you'll be doing like a hill start and you'll press the throttle and then the car just won't respond the way that it has been before. And initially it's quite disconcerting. You think, oh, okay, what's going on here? Like, you're sort of waiting for the check engine like that. It has a sort of like, I don't know, the power's not there where you think it is. You have to press the pedal a little harder just to get it to move. I assume that's because obviously snow, ice, you know, you don't want the car doing anything unpredictable in those settings, which makes perfect sense. So you switch it into natural, then it becomes exactly as the settings sort of suggest. It becomes more natural. You get a more progressive feedback from the pedals, more of what you would expect you to get from the car. Dynamic is interesting. Dynamic, this car really changes its character. As soon as you put it in dynamic, my goodness, you get quite a massive kick from that engine. Even though 175 horsepower, but my goodness, it moves. It does move. The throttle response sharpens up, steering wheel gets heavier. You really do notice it. Honestly, it's definitely more of an Alfa in dynamic mode. Whether you drive there all the time in dynamic, I don't know. I'm not really sure the sort of effects that would have on your MPG, but what a mode to have. And when you're on a back road in dynamic, this car is something of a bit of a weapon, to be honest. The way the suspension sort of firms up, the steering wheel gets more weighty, and it just feels the business. Yeah. Though for now I'm leaving it well in natural, because as you can see we're in a bit of a traffic jam, which is not uncommon for London living, but hopefully we'll be out of that, or out of this soon. Perfect test. Can it win the traffic light Grand Prix? We're about to find out. Yes, it can. It can win the traffic light Grand Prix. Goodness me. That acceleration, that was in dynamic, by the way. That acceleration really is something. Like, it does give you a noticeable kick in the back of the head. You know, so again, if you're living in a city or you live around town, bonging again, if you live in a city or you're around town, you'll win the traffic light Grand Prix in this car. Good news, everybody, we're going to be free from the shackles of London soon, and it's 20 mile an hour limits. So we can open her up and see a bit what she's got. Another thing I've noticed with this autonomous driving lark is that when it's not bonging at you, it is actually quite helpful. I've just noticed that we've just gone past the speed sign that displays 40 mile an hour, and the car's instantly picked it up. And then there's a little red line on the speedometer that just outlines the fact that the speed limit is 40 mile an hour. So if you stray over it, obviously you get the annoying bongs. But just as a visual reference, it's actually quite useful. You know, I'm not one for autonomous driving, but that is quite handy. Because sometimes, how many times have you been there where, you know, the limit goes from a 20 to a 40 to a 30 back to a 40, yeah, and the 30 zone doesn't quite look like a 30 zone, or you've just not seen a sign, so you're still doing 40. The fact that the car can register that and pick it up and then just give you a visual indicator to say it's a 30 here, mate, you know, you want to keep your license, it's handy. It is handy. The longer I've been in the car, the more I'm starting to appreciate the little things that it does. It just takes a lot of the stress out of driving. I mean, the bonging is the only thing really that, you know, lets it down a bit. But apart from that, it is actually really handy system to have. Talking about autonomous driving, I've just noticed another clever little thing. So I'm doing 40 mile an hour now, and I've just noticed there's a little green arrow just within the speedometer, and it's just keeping me in lane. The car knows where the lines in the road are, so if I was to release my hands off the steering wheel, which I'm not going to do, but if I was, I can actually feel the steering wheel turning. I don't know if you can see that, look. It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool. I can feel the car pulling me into the lane. It's not as drastic as you might think it would be. It's actually quite like light, if that makes sense. It doesn't yank the steering wheel out your hand. Okay, so if you go to change gear, it sort of lets go of the reins a little bit and says, okay, you take over. It's bonging again. And then when you get back into lane, what does it do? So it goes green. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you just saw that. Look. but then the wheel vibrates to say, hey, wait, hang on a second, we can't sense your hand. That's pretty damn cool. That is pretty damn cool. I know, obviously, that sort of stuff nowadays is sort of like, oh, you get a new car, autonomous driving is just a thing. But you know what? That's actually a very, very, very clever system. You just stray out a lane and it just goes, excuse me, and it just lets you know. Just takes the pressure off. And it knows perfectly well where the lines are in the road as well, which is actually pretty damn impressive. Pretty damn impressive. Another little feature that I thought I'd mention. So I've been driving this car for a day now, and there's no signs of, I have no signs of fatigue at all. My back doesn't hurt, you know, I haven't got a numb bum or anything like that. Absolutely fine. It's so comfortable, and it takes the edge off driving. When you want it to, it just takes its foot off the gas, and it just goes, I'll take it from here. And in many ways, with the way modern traffic is now, with all of its stresses and on the road, it's so good that it can do that. It has that ability. You know, the older Alphas, you know, as much as we love them, they are very analog cars. You know, you have to control everything about the car. Whereas with this, taking Alfa Romeo into sort of the modern era of things, with its autonomy and, you know, it just takes the pressure off of driving. When you want it to be, it can be an absolute hoon on a B road, for example. But when you want it to be, and you're just stuck in traffic, or you're just doing the normal day-by-day stuff, going shopping, going to work, you know, getting the kids, for example, it's such a fantastic car. It takes a lot of the stress out. You know, I was half expecting, you know, by around midday, you know, to get a bit uncomfortable and be like, oh, you know, need a stretch. Nothing of the sort. It's been absolutely perfect today. It's in many ways, it's like the perfect daily now. The Tonale, I would say it is definitely up there as a perfect daily car. You could use it every day, which is what it's intended for, and you never get bored of it. You'd never get bored of looking at it, for one. You'll never get bored of waking up to it and looking out the window and going, hey, what's that outside? You know, is it a Tesla? No. It's an Alfa Romeo. You know, that will never get old. It's a truly brilliant car, this. So I'm just on a bit of a twisty road here. I put the car into dynamic mode, and it's utterly transformed it. Throttle response so much sooner, so much. The throttle is literally just there, almost no lag at all. You put your foot down and you're just, suspension's definitely stiffened up, although you can soften it. But I think in the stiffer setting it actually works. You do feel the bumps a bit more, which obviously you will do with the stiffer suspension, but it's not uncomfortable still, but you definitely notice it. The car, also the steering wheel, the way it weights up in your hand is absolutely lovely. It's such an Alfa trait, that, for the steering wheel to just come alive in dynamic, you know. It's just, the power, it's there. The power is just there when you want it. Gear changes, again, they go from being quite soft to actually quite hard, quite visceral. You do feel like there's a little kick in the back when it does accelerate. Oh, it rides so well. If you give it some, it rides so well. Gearbox is responsive. Oh, it's an Alfa, alright. It's a proper Alfa, alright. Oh, it feels great. It feels absolutely fantastic. Brakes are really sharp. Oh. Yeah, it's an Alfa, alright. It's definitely an Alfa. Brakes are really sharp. Steering is beautifully weighted, beautifully judged. It's almost intuition that gets you around the bends. You don't even have to think about it. It really is brilliant. And as you can see, we're on some quite tight, twisty lanes here. But the car handles it absolutely like a dream. Yeah, in dynamic, this thing properly comes alive. It's a Jekyll and Hyde car in the best possible way. What I'll do now is I'll hand over to my future self for a roundup of the day. See you there. So unfortunately that concludes our day with the Alfa Romeo Tonale. I know, it's a shame. I'm going to be sad to give the keys over, to be honest. But what has today taught me about this Alfa? Well, it's utterly spectacular in every way, and if you don't immediately go and buy one, there's something wrong with you. No, but seriously, it's an epic car. In almost any setting, it just turns heads. It's comfortable when you want it to be. It's dynamic when you want it to be. It's got loads of space in it. It's got a big enough boot. The engine is really, really good. The gearbox is effortless. And that mild hybrid system is absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, it is one of the best Alfas I've ever driven. My personal car, comparing it to a Busso, is kind of unfair. You know, Alfa's moved on a little bit, but since then. But for me, this is definitely one of the best drive-in cars I've ever driven. Did I expect it to be in this format? No, but you know what? I'm so glad that I've had the chance to enjoy this car, because it honestly is one of the best cars I've ever driven, hands down. I mean, and look at it as well. It's just stunning. So should you buy the Alfa Romeo Tonale? Yeah. See you next time. Bye.